Hello everyone, in our today's video I'm gonna show you how you can set up your Tailwind CSS in normal static HTML project, in React project or Next.js project. So to start with it, let's go to our folder, and that folder we're gonna open in our VS Code. Now as you see, nothing is here, that folder is empty. So normally we will just open an index.html file. Now we will use the exclamation, open our first project, and let's give it as a test file. Now typically we can just come over here and click, that file will open, but there is a problem. So whenever we are changing something, it's not gonna implement here, you need to reload it. For not doing that one, what you need to do, you need to go to the extensions, just look for the live server and just install that one. After installing, you will see a pop-up over here, go live. Click on that icon and that icon will open your project. And now in that project, if we just make it, this is working, save it, see, instantly it's changing. Now we will set up our Tailwind CSS in that project. To install the Tailwind CSS, what we need to know or what we need to do, let's see. First of all, that is in the terminal we need to set up for the IntelliSense, but we will go first with the Placidian. So let's copy that portion in a script and then paste it over here. After saving it, what we will do, we will just change, we'll give some class name. The class, the text will be 3XL and the text will be red 500. And when you go over here, you see that's changing. Now the Tailwind class names, you can go over every single components, screens or editor setup. You can find all the class names there roaming around in Tailwind CSS. It will be fine. So now we save. Now our Tailwind CSS is working in our project, but remember there should be an IntelliSense which will give us an irony how and what it will come up next. To set up that IntelliSense, what we need to do, let's go to in terminal. Now we need to initialize that our npm. Let's go npm install, and to run the npm you need to install Node.js in your project. Just go in the Node.js and then you can find all the procedure to, I think the LTS version for the long-time support version is very good to install. And after installing that, it will work just fine. So now we initialize that one and you see we got our node modules and we get, I think, a single deb dependency which is Tailwind CSS. Now we have that, but it's still not yet done. What you need to do, npx Tailwind CSS init. That will include an config.js file, tailwind.config.js file. And after that, we need to add that portion inside that array. So what it will do, it will give us inside, we need to create a source folder first of all. Then inside that source folder, it will go each and every directory and then it will get the .html or .js file and apply the CSS on it. So first of all, after having that, we need to create search and that input.css file. So let's go over here, create a folder called source. Not the source, sorry, it will be source. And then in the source, we need to create input.css. And inside that file, we need to put that. And after having that, in the terminal, we need to execute that command to run our Tailwind CSS watchover, which you're gonna watch every single things we are going through. Now here, if I'm gonna change anything now, you see underline, IntelliSense is working, underline offset is working, like font bold. After applying, if we go over here, that is changing. Now what about if we make text center, not the clip, center. Okay, now Tailwind will give a much more utility classes, like if you want to look for width or hide or colors. You can find everything mentioned over here in their site. So before explaining further, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in my React.js folder, because I'm gonna also show you how you can implement that one in React.js. I'm gonna create one file which will be npx create react app. It will be test1. Just let it install its dependency, because it's gonna take a little bit of time. So now our first thing, the Tailwind is running. So what we're gonna do, inside of that file, let's create a div. Inside a div, let's insert an image. I'm gonna add that image. Let's add it. It's just a bit of playing around, okay, nothing more. You can just see how the Tailwind CSS is working now. So if we save it, you can see that is fine. Now what we're gonna do in that here, we'll give a class. Now it's not will be the class name for the React.js and Next.js. It should be the class name, but for normal time it will be just only the name of class. Now if we give a width of full of the image and height of screen and also object cover, see how simply you can add. You can add this style and it's changing. Now what about we want to put an overall text here, something in the middle. So for that also we can do, what we need to do is just give a class here with a full height of screen, and we will make that div as relative. Now inside that div we're gonna give another div, and that one will be class. Width will be 1/2, height will be full, it will be absolute, from top it will be 0, and from left also it will be 0. And inside that we're gonna use a p tag, or you will use some bunch of text. Let's go over here. You will not see the text because we need to give a text color. Let's give an initial color, text white, so it will work I think just fine. So now you can see, now that text we will keep here in the middle, because see, we give a width of half. So let's give a flex and justify, it will be center, items it will be center, I think it will be inside the center, right? And give a padding in x-axis 4, it will just move a little bit side. How about 6 further? And now also what we can do, give a class, oh sorry, I made a mistake. Give a class like text will be LG. See, it's LG, and you can give a gapping for by tracking it, tracking wider. It's gonna push a little bit. You can give a line gap using leading, like leading 6. See, it's getting a little bit squished together. How about 10? Little bit farther. I'll put it 8. It's good. And also you can make font semi-bold, and that gonna work fine. What about we're gonna modify the text orange. Now see, the utility classes is a life-saving. So now you are having, now you can change any single style in any component inside that file in the source directory or any other directory. You need to just add it. So let's see, our React project also start spinning. So let's see, where is that? Let's go cd test1, and also let's start it with the code. So this one is so simple. We're gonna use the script, then through the CLI command line, what we need to do, we need to initialize. First of all, you need to go over here, you need to just add that script https://cdn, which we're gonna use from Tailwind CSS, and then in the Tailwind command line we need to install Tailwind CSS globally in our project, then also the config file. Then inside the source file we need to use an input.css, and then we need to initialize that command to activate our Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. That will be just fine if you do that. So let's kill our port server, and for that one I think we can use that same class name, because you see, I will show you how you can, if you want to just adopt HTML project to transfer into React, also that formula will work. So we'll just minimize that one. Now remember, we added our React.js project, so that is our React.js project. So what we'll do, let's open our terminal and let's run that one. So kill that projects and npm start. So now after that, it gonna spinning our application from here. Now here from the app.js, we are giving everything. We are passing the logo and also the text. Everything is going from here. So instead of that app.css or index.css, because if you come over here, that is the normal CSS, is the manually the typing CSS. So instead of that CSS, we're gonna implement the Tailwind CSS. And how we gonna do that? Let's go to Tailwind. And here there is a framework guide is here. Let's see, we're gonna use the create React app for the React application, and we need to follow through that portion. You need to create a project first, then you need to go to inside that project, then the other work will be just as usual as the way we did beforehand. So we'll close that. I think it's okay. So that is our React project. So now what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna use the Tailwind, I will clean up our project. First app.css, app.test.js, logo, report vitals, those all are the things is not required. And then I'm gonna remove this portion, just make a new project, and also these things not required. I will just import the React from there somewhere, and also I will remove everything from here. And now I'm gonna remove that and also that. After saving it, you see that is our project. Now there is some imaginary margin and padding is going on. Like normally, if you are not willing to use the Tailwind, how you can kill that margin and padding? You just need to adopt globally like margin 0 and padding 0. Just save it. See, that's gone. So now it's time to initialize our Tailwind CSS. First of all, we're gonna remove that. We will not use that one here. First of all, we need to install the Tailwind CSS in our command line. I will open another git bash and let it to be installed. And after installing, if you keep that npx Tailwind CSS in it the same way, it will create that file. So without giving the npx, let's come over here, go to your topper level, create a file over here, give it the name of Tailwind config.js. Now come over here, you can copy all of it. You can copy, I think, yeah, just copy all of it, paste over here. Now here in the source directory the same way, but this time it will look for JSX.js because we are not gonna use the HTML or HTML file over here. Now after that, inside that index.css, we just copy, go there, we need to paste that one. I think now we need to start the project. We already started it, so let's just copy that portion, go to app.css, JS, and let's paste it. I think this class name is not required. Just save it. And if we go over here in our React projects, it's not working yet. It because we use the Tailwind config.js, so that's why we need to kill our terminal, and then we'll make the npm start again to spin it from the beginning, and it will be just fine. Sometimes it will work as the beginning, sometimes it will not work. Don't be panic for it. Let's give it a loading. We're gonna implement same procedure in this project also, just to have a little bit fun. Now you see Tailwind CSS is working, and also the IntelliSense will work just fine. Like if we make a BG red, see IntelliSense is working from the beginning. That's working. So first of all, remember what we have. We have that same projects in our div. So what we're gonna do, we will copy that same div, overall div, okay? And let's come over here. Instead of that div, we're gonna paste that div, right? And I think we made some mistake. And what is showing img property. Okay, because okay, let's go, and instead of putting it all together, what I'm gonna do, I'll take an image component. We'll go just slowly. In the source, I'm gonna same paste that, and also in the project, what I'm gonna do, like banner img, give an alternative. And if you come here, that one is running. Now remember, previously our normal static HTML project, we give a class name. Let's copy that class name. Let's see if it's working or not. Paste it. Now see, that is class. That will not work in React because React using JSX components. So what we need to do, we need to just put that class name, and that will work just as it is. So now also for the images, there is a class. Either you just copy from your previous project and just change the class name. And if we do that, I think, yeah, that is working just fine. And now I think we have another. Previously we just copied that one. Why it's not work? Let's copy again. This time it's supposed to be worked. Save it. Why it's not working? I think somewhere we made some mistake. If we give a class name, let's see if it's solved or not. Class name. No, it's not from the class name. That is our initial div. I think something we made mistake. So we'll just go through in a simple way. We'll just copy paste every single thing. So that is our div. Let's take div, take that div. Let's paste it here. Remember, we need to make it relative. It's relative, and that is absolute. And also, like, if we don't put the class name, what will happen? Let's see if it's working or not. It's still working, but sometimes it will crash just fine because it's Tailwind CSS IntelliSense is taking that one. But in normal React project, it will really create a big trouble. Okay, so always use the class name instead of just class in React project. So this is the React project. What about the next project? So let's go to next.js.org, and here in the documentation, what's it saying? We need to create npx create next app latest, then we can initialize our project. So let's go over here. Remember, we have a next project. I will kill that one. I will just open a terminal over here, and now here I think you are the paste the multiple lines. I think I didn't copy it properly. So let's copy it, or either you can manually type that one, no problem. Now after giving that, if you're not giving the name, it will give a pop-up, but let's give a name, text2. So now it's gonna, of course, it will initialize the TypeScript by default. Yes, let's also need it. And the source, would you like to source directory? Okay. And the experimental app, I'm not gonna use. I will show you how you can set up that one. So if you have any like initial project which you use, because this app directory project is still in experimental mode, so you can run that project in that way. So I will show you manually. So let's let it install that project, and within that time, let's go back to our. So first of all, that one, the HTML one, I'm gonna close it, and this one. So now here in React project, now what if this one I want to put inside a component, and then we need to just create a components. Oh, I think I spelled a mistake. There will be an O. So inside that components, just create like test.js, put RAFCE for the functional component. To initialize that one, you need to go there, and I think it will be ES7 plus React. You just install that one, so you will get that snippet to initialize that. And then what we're gonna do, remember, from that div onwards, we're gonna take everything from here. We'll just keep that simple div, or we can do one thing, we can take all over the div, this full div. We're gonna cut it from here, and then we're gonna paste it here in the text. Now in the app, inside the fragment, we will just take the test and after saving it, it's still working just as usual. So now you can create your component, create the pages, and